You got mail. Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next hour, along with Katie.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Gal is here.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Spence is out of town. And Nick may or may not join us. I don't know. Did not hear from him. But anyway. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. We'll talk about that. Today's show is made possible by VMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So what happened last week?
I don't know if any tech things. Oh, wait. No, I do know something.
Oh,
I don't know how accurate this is because I just saw it in a headline and I didn't fact check it. But bamboo printers have gone up by 4% price wise because of the tariffs. So that's all I have as news.
yeah, but you already got yours now.
I do, and I've stocked up on filament, so I'm good for a while.
All right. And what I mean, I sent you a link and you
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
read it. So
So
tell me about it. What are these? How does it work?
Okay, so I'm gonna send me a link about a new way to print with resin printers. So the way and I'm not a technical person, so I will explain this in layman terms. Um, so the way that resin printing works is that you have a vat of resin, which is kind of like liquidy stuff,
Mhm.
and the plate goes down into the vat, and then there's lights underneath it. I don't know if it's I guess it's like UV lights, and what the UV lights do is it flashes uh the layer um shape.
It hardens the material.
Yeah, it hardens the material into the shape that you want. And then that plate raises up barely a little bit, and then it flashes again, and that's how it builds up the layer, and it makes a 3D shape.
Mhm.
So that's resin printing. Now, what you sent me was resin printing as well, but using holograms to do it. And so I read it, and the way I understood it is instead of doing it layer by layer in like a shallow vat, it would be like a big container of resin, and it would flash the light into that big whole container and the whole 3D shape instead of layer at a time. So and then did it say hologram? I think it said hologram. Where
Mhm.
like when you look at a hologram image, it looks like the whole thing. And so somehow I guess maybe they have lights on every single side so that it flashes from all the sides at the same time and forms the 3D print is one item instead of doing it layer by layer.
So that
Interesting.
means that go ahead, Gal.
No, I said interesting. That's it.
Uh,
It sounds super cool. I don't know I don't know how accurate it is. Two, I don't know how much detail it can get. And three, the thing about resin though is it has to cure. And so I don't know how sturdy those prints are. Because doing it layer by layer, it it cures like that whole layer that it needs to do before it moves on to the next one. So I don't know if like maybe the outside of the print will be cured, but the inside won't. Like I don't know. This is like living in the future.
so is this the way? So the way that you just explained it, it sounds like it's when an ice
Yeah,
sculpture
basically.
takes a big chunk and just chisels at it and takes it off. So you would
Yeah,
start with
that's exactly. So it'd be like, yeah, exactly that. You have a cube of ice, and every single side of that cube has a heater on it, and it zaps the ice at the same time, and then the shape forms, and the ice melts to reveal the 3D shape that people wanted. That's how I understand it. I don't know if that's actually accurate, but when I read the article,
that's kind of what I understood from, and I don't know much about this, but I said, boy, that's going to be a lot of waste. because you
Well,
take a
well,
big chunk that's
Well,
solid.
no, because you can reuse the resin.
Oh,
So when you 3D print, it hardens only a section of the resin, and the rest of it is still liquid. So you could print multiple things as long as you have enough resin in the vat.
okay. So it's not like you're gonna. So the stuff that the way that you understood it, the stuff that it's gonna flash lights it and it's gonna blast it away can be reused.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay, okay,
resin is in a resin, and it's before it cures is in a liquid state. So what it was more accurately would be like is if you had a vat of water, and to get the ice sculpture, they only froze sections of that water. You still have the water that you can use in another section, or another sculpture.
It,
Uh,
is it really liquid or is it just softer? I mean, the
no, it's
reels,
liquid.
but the reels that you're using in.
No, no. There's two different things. Those are two different printers. There's a
Okay.
resin printer and a plastic printer or filament printer. Those are two different types.
Oh, okay.
I use
I see.
filament, which is plastic, and that melts. Resin is a chemical based product that, when hit with UV light, hardens.
Okay.
That's what resin is.
Okay. Hmm.
Two different things.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're saying that it's a lot faster. I mean,
Oh,
you would.
yeah.
and
Because
you said you weren't sure if it's sturdy enough, but this means that it'll be all solid, basically.
well, so the thing with
The
resin,
internals, I mean.
well, it has to cure, and resin's picky. So it if it doesn't evenly get hit with UV light, it can affect like the curing. And resin is also toxic, so if it doesn't cure completely and you touch it, and you can get sick or whatever. Um, uh, I granted, I don't know a lot. I'm just going off of my basic knowledge of it. So what I'm thinking is, like, if it does it all at the same time, does that mean it goes all the way through at the same rate? So even in the middle of the model, it's not goop, it's solid resin, or is the middle more goopy because it wasn't able to penetrate all the way through, if that makes sense? Because if it has to go through the walls and harden the walls, the closer it gets to the middle, does that mean less UV light gets through? Or I don't know. I don't know.
Right, but it can start from the middle and work out. So
Maybe. See, this is why I don't know enough science.
Oh,
yeah, no, interesting.
And it is a lot faster because machines, when they do each layer, they have to turn on the light, and the light has to, depending on the frequency and all that other science crap, is it has to be on the resin a certain amount of time. My
Yeah.
resin printer, which is at this point 10 years old, it would cure each layer in 7 seconds. And a print would have like
a
I don't know, like
thousand layers.
a thousand, yeah, like a 3-inch tall print would have like 1,000 layers. So 7 seconds times
That's a
1,000.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so it would take about 3.5, on average, 3.5 to 5 hours to print a miniature that was maybe 2 inches
Mhm.
to 3 inches tall. So
Mhm.
Interesting.
I'd be curious. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
we'll see.
I hope they master this and it works out the way that it sounds like it does, or what I think in my head, and then they sell the 3D printer at an affordable price that I can buy, because I would love to get my hands on it. That's why I stopped doing resin printing. One, because resin's toxic and you need like a well ventilated place to do it, and two, it just took way too long for something that was only like 2 inches tall. So I was like, I gotta wait for this technology to get better.
Well, that's the only way the technology is going to go. It's going to get better and better as people
Yeah. That's exactly
figure out
why
better
I
ways.
gave my friend my resin printer,
Mhm.
and he was messing around with it, and then I was like, I'll just wait for the next generation.
Oh, all right. Good. Um, Google is preparing to abandon SMS verification codes for Gmail authentication in favor of QR codes.
Mm.
The move aims to address significant security vulnerabilities inherent in SMS based verification while combating fraudulent exploitation of Google's messaging infrastructure. So you I still don't understand how this is going to work if you're on what happened if you're on your phone.
I
Where do you
I
get where do, no, go ahead.
well, TikTok does this. It uses QR login. Um,
So how do
and
you do, so how do you do it? You're on your phone
yeah, yeah.
and
So well, so that I see what you're asking. So my TikTok login is for my store, and my store stuff is on the browser. So I open up the browser, and it's like, oh, you can log in through TikTok with the QR code, and I scan the QR code with my phone, and it pulls up TikTok, and it says, this has been verified. Like it
okay,
does it through the app.
how do you
So
how do you scan that QR
I
code?
just use it with the camera. Like the
But
QR codes always just go with the camera.
I
I
right.
mean,
mean,
what you're missing is the initial the setup.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're on your phone and you see the QR code on the screen. Now you want to take your camera and scan it. That doesn't work like that.
I don't think the QR code stuff is for logging in on your phone. I think it's for logging in on the browser if you're trying to log in on your computer, because when you log in through the app, it has you log in through Apple. Like, okay, I have an iPhone. So it logs in
Oh,
with your
okay.
Apple account, and then your Apple account is connected to your face. So like it says, do you want to log in with your password, or do you want to do the secure thing by logging in with your face? And so I always say just do the face. So that's how you get into the app. Now, if you're on your computer and you're trying to log into Gmail, then usually it would send, like you said, the text message. But actually what it does for me is that it sends a confirmation message to my Google app. Like it'll tell me, open up your Google app and confirm it's you. And
Yeah.
that's what I do. Or that's what it does currently.
Okay. All right. That makes sense now. Because I'm
But
saying,
I see what you're saying though, because I have been in that situation. Usually it's with TV streaming services. I've got really frustrated because I think it was like, I don't know if it was like HBO or like Peacock or something, and it was like uh I downloaded the app and it was like, oh, use your TV to log in or something, and it showed me the QR code on my phone that I had to scan with my phone. And I was like, what? I was like, I can't scan, like you said, I can't scan it if it's on my phone and it
yeah,
wants me to scan the QR code.
right.
And I was like, I don't understand what's going on. So I think what I did is I had mom scan the QR code from my phone, and we like did it through her phone. But it was just like, I was obviously something was wrong, because it's only happened once that I had to do that, and I was so confused. I'm sure they got it fixed.
Hey, John is asking you in the chat, is the resin clear?
You can buy clear. There's different types of resin, different colors, and the different colors have different curing times. And um, I I I have a lot of green transparent, so it's like looking at water with red or green dye in it. A popular resin color is solid gray. You can get pure clear resin. I like to do the colored stuff because if I spill it or whatever, I can see it and know that it's there and to clean it.
Ah,
So it comes in all kinds of colors. There's also water soluble ones too. A lot of the resins where you can only clean it with alcohol. And then I found out later that you can get water soluble ones,
and the
but
water soluble ones are still that toxic?
I think so. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm no scientist, pleading the fifth
Well,
here or whatever, but all I know is that like it's like you had like all of the things, all of the recommendations is like well ventilated area, wear rubber gloves, and the rubber gloves had to be like a specific type too, because so it's chemical, so it would like go through, I don't know what rubber that some rubber gloves are made out of.
interesting.
And I moved to a place that didn't have a garage, so I was like, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
All right. Everybody's got a whole bunch of DVDs at home that they back up to and
Yeah.
duplicate stuff. Listen to this. Warner Brothers Home Entertainment has confirmed widespread issues affecting DVDs manufactured between 2006 and 2008 that are experiencing premature disc rot.
What?
Yeah,
How does it rot?
I
Like it
have
just
no
falls
idea.
apart?
The
Well,
companies,
it's plastic after all, so there is degradation.
oh
Huh.
yeah, we always thought that lives forever, and that's
Maybe
why.
they used the wrong
So,
adjective because when I hear the word rot, it makes me think usually rotting happens because there's bacteria that eats away. So
No,
that
they're talking about digital type of rot where you get bits that are lost.
okay.
so the company is offering replacements for affected titles, but no refunds, even when replacements aren't possible. The problem manifests in various ways: complete disk failure, freezing midway through playback, or menu issues. Movie critic Chris Bumbray recently discovered several of his classic film DVDs had deteriorated, including titles not available digitally. DVD collectors have documented this issue for years via YouTube and forums, with speculations that a Pennsylvania manufacturing plant a subpar subpar materials.
Mm.
So no mention of what brand or whatever, but you may have some of these. I need to go through my CDs and DVDs and see what's there. But it is just amazing that something like this can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you
I
have
don't
something
know.
important, back it up, huh?
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. It's like they did say the studio name, right? The distributor,
That's Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. Yeah, I don't know. It's like
So check your Shrek
Warner
DVDs.
Brothers, right? So we're hearing about this because this critic who has access to media, right, to publish his words. We're hearing about it because he just discovered it, right? But as I as the article said, this is not new news. I think the only interesting piece of news is here Warner Brothers will replace yours if it's possible,
Mm.
right? Which the if it's possible part means unless it's like in wide distribution still, because they've stopped manufacturing DVDs,
Right.
right? They're if they are creating any physical media, it's probably Blu-ray and not DVDs. And so something like it's sort of okay, there's right now a mini rush because let's face it, even those who have the DVDs, do they care to even test each DVD and see if it's
Well,
working? Right? It's like something.
I know, but that's the problem. Is if you backed up something
Yeah.
to a DVD years ago, you must have done it because it was important to keep it and to have. And you may find out,
Right, but
oh, I can't read it.
DVDRs were so DVDRs,
Yeah.
right? This is not we're not talking about DVDRs.
No, we're talking about
DVDRs they were susceptible for data loss back then, depending on the quality that you would buy.
yeah.
So yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
here are some of the movies that are affected. Happy Feet, 300,
Wow.
uh Ocean's 13, Harry
yeah,
Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Beowulf, I Am Legend, Sweeney Todd. Let's see. There's a bunch, but
And these are
The
just
Dark
from
Knight.
this is just
Uh,
from Warner Brothers.
yep. Slumdog
Yeah.
Millionaire. Yeah. The other movies are like meh.
Yeah.
There's
I'm so
about
glad
maybe
I
30
went
of them.
digital like 15, probably over 15 years ago, maybe 20. So
Also, I think
Hey, we're
I
not
have.
talking about floppies.
no, I mean hard drive.
Well, I don't have Happy Feet DVD, but I do have Happy Feet Blu-ray. So around this time was when Blu-rays were like the next big thing. So I guess I'm safe.
Well, Blu-rays were never the next big thing. Blu-rays was at the DVDs at the get-go was a dead medium, right?
Yeah, but my
The
Blu-rays
marketing
aren't
around them
dying.
was huge, but hard drives were starting to be faster and cheaper, right? And so the progression is okay. DVDs at this point are cheap, and that's what people use for mass storage at offices and home. But it was a clear progression to a point where, as the DVD came out, right, the media was talking about in the future you'll have uh, uh, small sticks with memory on them that you could just use instead of storage. So it was, if video when it came in was a complete earth-shattering change, right? The Betamax and VHS, compared to what was available before that with Super 8 and stuff like that, and the 16 millimeter. Uh, the handling, the ease of use, that was earth-shattering. But when DVD came in, the next technology was already starting to be available, a bit expensive, but it was already starting to be available, right?
Yeah, but
Uh,
I understand what you're saying, but not everybody in the early 2000s even had a computer. And if they did have a
no,
computer, it wasn't good enough to play videos. So for the mass market,
for sure,
DVDs was the way to go.
for
Yeah.
sure. But the thing is, when DVD started and the boom started, right? It was already clear that this is a dead medium, and so when Blu-ray came in, it was okay, but if you wanted to invest now in buying a Blu-ray machine, or buying a hard drive and figuring out how to copy the content into it, if you had the nose, a hard drive would have done it better anyway. So it was that point of time, right, when there's this big boom. Blu-rays are outside of the States. I doubt Blu-rays are a big thing, right? Because the economics in the United States, it actually works. But I can tell you that in Israel, I haven't seen a single home with a Blu-ray in them, right? And I don't know about the rest of Europe, but I'm guessing it's pretty similar. It's just this thing, right? It was doomed from the get-go. So hearing right now that something that was sold 15, 20 years ago is a bit deteriorating is interesting-ish. What I find interesting is that something that was sold 10 to 15 years ago is being replaced by the company,
Yeah,
right?
that's wild.
That's interesting. Like, they are not making money on it anyway,
Yeah.
right? And it's probably cheaper for them to actually distribute these DVDs because it means they can free up some storage space. So that's why they're okay with this getting known or something. And I'm guessing that in, I don't know, in the next year or so, if this thing becomes more of an issue, they'll just say, okay, we can send you a digital voucher and you can watch it for the rest of your life on our servers, right? Something like that. That'll be a lot easier for them to handle. So
Well,
yeah, interesting.
there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah, but why would you skin a cat from the first time?
Yeah, well.
That's the problem.
Let's see. Talking about saving storage space, Twitch is planning to reduce some of the content archived by streamers to save on storage costs. The streaming platform announced that it will introduce the 100-hour storage cap for highlights and uploads starting April 19th. Warning that users will have their content automatically deleted until it falls below the limit. Twitch says it's doing this because highlights haven't been very effective in driving discovery or engagement, and it isn't worth the cost of storing thousands of hours of such content. Of course, Twitch is owned by Amazon. They don't have enough storage. They don't have enough space.
No, it's not that. No, come on. Do you archive to Twitch, by the way?
No.
No, right? You do not save there anything.
No.
But think about the backlog on YouTube, right? Which contains all of the shows.
Right.
I mean, YouTube isn't making any money of that storage. You are not making any money of that storage, right? So if it's not driving any value,
yeah,
why preserve it?
Yeah.
And unlike archive.org, which at least they're in the business of archiving, right? And they have a vested interest in history. I mean, these are businesses. So I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that they're the first big player who does it.
Well,
right? But yeah, it tracks. And it also tracks nobody really watches recorded video on Twitch. Right?
Oh, a lot of people
Everybody
do. A lot of people do. I mean, because
very
there's so
only stuff from the last week or month.
Yeah.
They're not interested in back catalog of content. Right?
yeah, I know I am. I mean, there's a lot of movies, old movies on
Yeah, but that's the
Twitch.
thing. That's you're talking about copyrighted material that
Yes.
they don't want on it anyway.
Well, I don't. No.
right?
No. I don't know that it's copyrighted material. I think it's somehow it's because they have a whole series for years. I mean, they would have taken it off. I never looked to see if it was
They
copyrighted.
will take off only something that they get a DMCA request.
Yeah, I
right?
guess. I don't.
In order to get a DMCA request, somebody needs to pay a lawyer. So if nobody's really if nobody's really interested in the old content, even if it's still copyrighted, right? Then there won't be a DMCA request. If there's no big studio behind it or anything, right? Nothing will happen because otherwise it's effort that is spent and money lost. So it's a cat and mouse game, but sometimes the mouse is too small to chase, right? So
Actually, I don't think you need a lawyer to do that, or at least not to get it started because the people on YouTube do it all the time. Where they're like, "Hey, I own this," and then you just have to so for TikTok when people were stealing my stuff, I reported them and then they were like, "Do you own this stuff?" I said yes. I didn't have to have any legal document. I had to have proof from the app, and then I had to show proof of uh, when I posted my material. I'm like, "Hey, this is me," and then somebody reviewed it and they said yes, but I didn't hire a lawyer.
okay, what I mean by you need a lawyer is
If
if
the
it's
other
owned by a
side
studio,
fights,
right? If it's owned by a studio, somebody needs to invest time. So not a lawyer, but somebody needs to do the posting, somebody needs to do the follow-up, somebody needs to search for it, and somebody needs to claim it, right?
Yeah, I guess
That
that's true.
means somebody's paid to do it. That's all. In your case, you are the person who's getting to pay to do it because it means your business is hurting and you're doing it and you have a vested interest.
Honestly, I need to talk to my boss because I'm not making nearly enough for all my time and effort.
Well, yeah, you need to negotiate your terms.
I need to
Yeah.
renegotiate my contract.
You need a
With
you need a
myself.
you need a bigger mirror.
Yeah, yeah. I need a lawyer. I gotta hire a lawyer.
All right. TCL has emerged as a dominant force in the premium TV market, surpassing LG in global shipments and solidifying its position as a key competitor to Samsung. According to Counterpoint Research, TCL premium TV shipments more than doubled year on year in the fourth quarter of 24, capturing 20% of the market, while LG shares fell to 19%.
Yeah. The all
Now,
I'm hearing, right, is TCL outsold LG
yeah,
because they were cheaper, right? That was their brand.
that
They sell something practically on par, on the cheap, and they ate at a market. But they will they compete at the same level of pricing? I don't know.
uh,
Like I don't think that'll last.
yeah. Here
I mean, if they keep the pricing, then I'm all for it, right? But like when Samsung grew, when they entered the market, any market, right? It was the phones, and then it was TVs and stuff like that. It's like at a certain point, the price point became so expensive that they're just another part of the competition of the um, high end stuff, right? At the beginning, it was, I don't know, Sony and maybe Sanyo, right? And then uh, and then later you got these other brands, and they stepped up until they could charge the same as Sony and others. So me as a consumer, it doesn't seem that I would care too much about this type of growth.
So I have an LG TV and I looked out on getting one because at the time I got it really cheap because smart TVs were new and LG had that not scam scandal, that's the word I'm looking for.
OS.
Had that scandal where like it was monitoring people or whatever, so nobody was buying LG TVs, and I was in Best Buy and I was like, holy crap, this 55-inch smart TV is this much? Is only this much? And the guy was like, yeah, this is one of the scandal TVs. And I was like, sold. I don't care if they're watching me. Yeah, that was 10 years ago,
Yeah.
12 years ago. So
Now
I was like,
today
okay.
they're one of the most expensive brands out there.
yep.
Yeah, that's so funny. It works great. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't use the smart TV aspect of it anymore because it's outdated and I just have a
Right.
Roku hooked up to it, but the TV is still fine.
All right. Um, Mozilla published the final build of the Firefox 136 open source web browser for all supported platforms. Did you update yours? Did you? So
I
they
keep it
said,
updated all the time.
so
Final?
here's a list of the general features available in this release: vertical tabs layout, new browser layout section,
Yeah.
PN, PNG.
Vertical tabs.
What?
Woohoo!
What?
Vertical tabs.
Huh?
Yeah. I was waiting for that.
PNG copy support. I don't understand what that means. Can you explain? PNG copy. I don't
Good
know.
thing I come to the show from time to time. I get some
Yeah.
news. I'm checking. Firefox,
HTTPS
what's new?
first behavior, smart block embeds, solo AI link, expanded data collection and use settings, weather forecast on new tab page, and address autofill expansion. These are just some of the major ones. There's a whole
Sounds
list.
like everything was there, but they've just switched some of the stuff on by default, maybe?
Hmm.
Address out of field. Oh, address out of field enabled for users in the United Kingdom.
Oh,
So yeah, that's stuff that's been
huh.
on. Weather forecast. I think I don't know if that was a feature, but now it is, and that's fine. That just means that they had some that they figured out a partnership with some weather providing,
Mhm.
because think about it, even though Firefox market share isn't that big, right? It's I think it's one of the smallest
Yeah.
um, shares out there. It's still a huge chunk of traffic uh, uh, that would go to some servers. So they need to negotiate some terms in order for that to work with a certain weather provider, because a new tab, right, that's the most common tab in the browser. That means it'll be open a few tens of times a day. So at least like on a low end machine. So what was else?
So why?
Hardware video decoding for AMD GPUs. That's nice on Linux, because that means working with uh, um, DRM content better on non NVIDIA hardware. So that's
Oh,
important.
hmm.
Some power management stuff on Mac OS, which is a big deal. Start block embeds. Social media stuff that be restricted. So you know that we have social media code on almost every website. And so when you block third party cookies and
Cookie.
stuff, you can manage some of the blocking, but there are still snippets of code that might run and report back to the social media site. So they're doing better work at blocking them in the browser. Yeah. Overall, good changes. When you started with the word final, I thought, what, they're closing up or something, but no, it's just the most recent.
Yeah, the final of the
Yeah,
most recent.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Um, YouTube is warning creators about a new phishing scam that attempts to lure victims using an AI generated video of its CEO, Neil Mohan. The fake video has been shared privately with users and claims YouTube is making changes to its monetization policy in an attempt to steal their credentials, according to an announcement on Tuesday. YouTube and its employees will never attempt to contact you or share information through a private video, YouTube says. If a video is shared privately with you, claiming to be from YouTube, the video is a phishing scam. In recent weeks, there have been reports floating around Reddit about scams similar to the one described by YouTube. So, if you spend a lot of time online watching videos, just be aware. Um, this is really for creators, for people that upload stuff or record stuff on on YouTube. Not just if you're watching. Let's see what else we have here. I don't know what it is about Brazil. A Brazilian judge has ordered Apple to open its iOS platform to alternative app stores within 90 days, according to Valor International. The ruling cited Apple's compliance with similar requirements in the European Union under the Digital Market Act
Mm.
without showing significant impact or irreparable harm to its economic model. And they were saying that there were some other things that Brazil claimed. Some of them they lost, some of them they won, but they're pretty active in, hey, do that, do that.
Or we just have an American correspondent that follows Brazilian news and
Or
reports
that's
that.
that's very, very, very
That's
possible.
how it works, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I still find it interesting because what I do find, I mean, the most important part of the article is this has already started in Europe, right? We've been tracking
yeah.
that. And the data shows it didn't really hurt Apple. And that's phenomenal news, right? Because it means Apple cannot claim that this is hurting their business irreversibly. It means it allows choice. Now,
Mhm.
will it hurt them in the long run? Of course. But that's the point, right?
But yeah,
In the
potential.
long run, they need to be okay with working with side to side with the competition on this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. True. All right. 1Password has introduced a nearby items feature, allowing users to tag credentials with physical locations so the relevant information automatically surfaces when users are near those locations. Location information can be added to any new or existing item in a 1Password vault. Does that make any sense to you?
I think so. So let's say
I
you
mean,
put
there's
let's say you put your bank's ATM pin code into an item, and now you're next to an ATM and you recorded that location. Like that's what I'm hearing.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not sure if that's what they mean. But so when you recorded that pin, you said this is a relevant location. Okay. And so you're at the ATM now and you pull up 1Password and that will be at the top because you're near it. Right? The
yeah,
phone knows where it is and it's
yeah. It says that
um
the app has also been updated with a map view for setting and viewing the locations of your items. And in the blog post announcing the features, the company cited examples such as door codes for a
yeah.
workplace, health records at the doctor's office, Wi Fi access at the gym, and reward membership information for local shops as potential use for location data.
This is something that has been done by other I think Google Wallet does it, Apple Pay does something like that as well for rewards and stuff that but not in a general secret vault, which is what 1Password is. So it's interesting. I do not. 1Password is an open source as far as I remember, so I do not know about tracking that. Right? What do they do in terms of tracking that? But as long as it's local, it's a convenience. I say, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like a multi factor authentication in a way.
No, 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 no. It's literally a convenience. It's about showing you. So my vault,
But what if you're not next to one of these items?
it's still in your vault. You can search for it. It's just is So what happens is this: I go to the doctor's office.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I can either store a copy of the health insurance information
Mhm.
in the health insurance app. Then I need to bring that up, right, and show the card. I'm talking if I decide to work digitally and I do not have the card. Okay. So that's one option. Or I can keep that information in one app that is synced across my devices instead of that, and it'll be in my password, and it will contain the information that I need. By the way, I keep my medical information, my the prescriptions that I take and stuff like that, because every time you go to the doctor, you need to fill it up. So every time I'll be in the doctor, that'll be as a notification. I won't even need to go into the app, right? The app will say, "Hey, you're at the doctor. You might need this information," basically. And all I do is click, and I get
Oh,
that
okay. So
information.
it's got nothing
It's
to do
just
with logging in.
access to the important
Yeah.
secret information, but in a convenient way. It's like a shortcut for searching. And so, yeah, it's a nice feature.
Okay. I thought it was
Remember,
something
people are
else.
paying a monthly fee for 1Password. I think they have a free version, but it's like it's a for pay
Yeah.
service. So yeah,
Okay.
give them more convenience.
Yeah. All right. Completely different than what I was imagining here.
No, I don't think authentication is going to be location based. No, I think
No,
that's what you were looking at.
also a location. Not location, but also.
I mean, maybe they're gonna add a piece that would say, unless I'm in this location, also ask for my password or something like that, right? And so if that's type of authentication that I would think of, like, keep this safe unless I am physically there, right?
Yeah.
But I doubt
That's what
they'll
I
do that.
thought it was.
No,
Okay.
I didn't see that from the news
Okay.
announcement.
Next, a U.S. congressional committee has urged Americans to remove Chinese made wireless routers from their homes, including those made by TP-Link, calling them a security threat that opens the door to China to hack U.S. critical infrastructure. I know we talked about that before. Um, I didn't look at it too deep, but I still don't know that there are any home routers that don't have Chinese parts.
Well,
Yeah, I
I
was about
mean,
to say,
it's
how
not.
do you get around it?
Yeah.
First of all, it's not about parts. It's only if there's any relevance, it's about software and it's not about hardware.
Okay, so what if you have TP-Link and you use that, what is it, WDW something?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Install an open source system on it that that you know how the OS works, and then you'll be safe. Uh, it's literally that. I don't know. It's like I feel this is fear mongering for the sake of fear mongering and not with any backed up evidence. So don't do that. That just creates mass hysteria without
Look,
without anything behind it. So
next.
I'm no lover of China, but I'm also no lover of patriotic gestures. What seems like a patriotic gesture, but in essence, it's just xenophobia. So, phobia for the sake of xenophobia, no.
Utah has become the first U.S. state to pass legislation requiring App Store operators to verify users' ages and obtain parental consent for minors downloading apps. The App Store Accountability Act adds to a wave of children online safety bills advancing through state legislators nationwide. Similar legislation has faced legal challenges, with many being blocked in court. A comparable federal bill failed last year amid free expression concerns. I know we always say that it's really should be up to the parents to monitor what their kids are doing and all that, but what's the big deal about, hey, if the kid is 12, 13, 14, check and don't let them get things that are not for them. I mean, yeah, you are relying on an external service to do it, but where is the free expression?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
It's
I do agree with one aspect of that. I do not know about the implementation, right? And that's my
yeah,
problem.
that's the problem is the
So
implementation.
uh, the app stores have definitely made things too easy, right?
Yeah, of course, that's what they
Um,
want.
right, but uh, I for speaking only on Android because I do not have any experience on iOS,
Yeah.
right? Uh, the first thing when you purchase a piece of software on the App Store, the first time you do it on a new phone, okay, so
Hmm.
it's not necessarily the only time, but every time you'll install the App Store fresh, but every time you log in for, then that first purchase will ask you, okay, you need to identify, and now you need to tell me whether I should ask you to identify every time you purchase something, or is it okay from this point forward that you're approving purchases.
Hmm.
Now, if somebody does it on a piece of hardware that they give a child, I say that's 100% on them. The understand that nobody's got your back in this world, right?
Right.
Especially not somebody who wants your money.
Of course.
So,
Yeah.
um, so take care, right? But again, it really depends on what they're speaking about in age verification. If they're talking about a one-time operation that you need to do on a device, yeah, maybe. I mean, I would hate it that if I need to go through it, but I would also understand why it's there. Um, if the legislation means that they are going to need to have a third party do the verification process, then I say, hell no, I do not want an additional party looking into my sensitive data. I'm already giving part of my sensitive data to the phone manufacturer. Now I need another party that will do it and can be breached and like limit the amount of data I'm exposing. So that's the balance that we're looking for, and maybe that's where free expression comes from, right? Stating we do not want anybody creating blacklists of people and what they're doing, because it also means that that third party might track what you're buying. So I don't know.
Uh,
It's a mixed bag, like anything. One thing I do understand, it takes about 20 years, right, for legislation to catch up to technology,
yeah.
right?
That's yeah.
iPhone App Store, Apple App Store showed up on the iPods, and that's around 2005, right? Something like that. So it took 20 years for legislation to catch up in the US.
What is Eleanor is saying something? First of all, Alan was saying when we're talking about QR codes, it says, I think QR codes as scary as tiny URLs. They could open up anything. Yeah, everything can be
Yeah, but I mean,
abused.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
convenience. I don't see them as scary because when you scan them before they activate anything, you get to see the URL, right? If something looks off, then don't go there. If you're scared by URLs,
Tiny
then
URLs. Tiny.
no, then
Yeah.
then shut down your phone, put it in a box, and don't use it.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, we live in a. If you're scared of the big city, then stay in the country, right? It's like
I don't I don't
don't engage. I have nothing else to say.
I don't
There's
click on
no other.
tiny URLs. I don't click. I delete the message. It's never important. If it's important, they'll send it again.
No, I agree. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
And Eleanor is saying now about this age verification. She said, you're a minor up to 18 in most cases. At that age, trying to get parents' consent for software. And she said, laughing out loud.
Sure,
Well,
but why would I give my 18-year-old, right, access to free reign to my credit card, basically, right?
yeah,
It needs to be somehow limited. Now, should legislation do that?
that
I
was
mean,
always
I would prefer a different way, but yeah, I mean, should the store be accountable? I mean, this is the buying cigarettes thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Do you need to show an ID
and
for
other
when you're
stuff.
buying cigarette? Yeah, so yeah.
And John is saying, how do they verify age? A child can upload a copy of parent's ID, or they
Okay.
can get
No,
an
no,
ID.
no. So I've been through age verification, right? And the process is twofold, right? There are either multiple accounts and one account needs to vet another account, right? And that's not necessarily easy to do, even if you're a child with access to all of the electronics in the home. It's not necessarily easy to do. That is the easiest and pretty anonymous. You still keep some sort of anonymity around that. Uh, the other one is video based. So, in order to get an online ID to log into the IRS today, okay, one of the processes is you get to be on a video call with another person on the other end, right? Where you show up your ID next to your face live. That's something that, yes, will it be possible to fake? With enough technology, it will be possible to fake, but it's really hard, right? It requires a lot of effort,
It's not
something that
straightforward.
most kids will not have access to. So for now, age verification process does exist. I mean, hell, when they the reason these legislations are coming in is because these states, and Utah is one of them, right, that put in the age verification ruling for porn sites. They've been successful in a way, right? For at least for the big porn sites, they've folded in and they went with the process of implementing the workflow,
Hmm.
and it exists. So if if a porn site can do it, then probably Apple and Google can do it as well, right? So um, whether we like it or not, I think it's a reality. It will be there. We'll see
And
more of
and
it.
and Eleanor is saying something very, very true. She said, at 18, many are working, may have their own credit cards, and then there's cash.
Well, you can't
You
buy
can't pay
apps
by
with
cash.
cash,
Yeah.
so that's not relevant right now. But uh, what even if they're talking about age verification, then they'll talk about, let's say, age verification until 13, which is the app stores are not supposed to interact with anybody below 13, right? That's the federal law. Any digital collection of digital information about minors is prohibited. So one of the things that the legislation might be about is should a minor be should a young child have access to digital, and what does it mean that they have access? But
And
yeah,
remember, they're not talking here only about purchasing, as in money exchange. They're also
right.
talking about, hey, I'm going to the app store and I want to download an app that is for adults. I mean, I should not have any reason to use it. I don't know if any, but I mean, or you want to go
Mhm.
to a site, to a porn site.
Yeah, look, they want parents to basically give approval whether the child installs TikTok or not. Okay, let's be
Right.
clear.
That's what they
Right?
want.
It's not even a porn site. It's not. They want control. They want adult supervision.
They
That's what
want to cover
Utah
their
is pushing for.
asses. That's what they want.
No, but what I'm talking about the Utah legislation is they want to force parents, right, to monitor what their child is doing. That's basically what they want. That's what the legislation is driving, right? The politics behind it. I'm not saying that that's the what they're looking for. Eventually, it just might be, an age verification service that has a huge lobby and they want to make more money. But the legislation, the politics behind it is parents should be in control in what's in the hands of their children. And I think we all agree here, right? That needs to happen. Whether legislation is the way to do it, that is where right,
Well,
the conversation shifts. But
the last thing that Eleanor is saying is, well, let's see how well this goes, since the administration wants to get rid of regulations. So,
no, on the federal level,
yeah,
right? Yeah. So this is Utah. This is a state legislation.
that's
This
true
has
too.
nothing to do with federal
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
regulation,
Sure, sure.
right? So
Yeah, well,
you see, I've been here for what now? We're almost 12 years here, right?
it
I understand how the system
the
works.
the the thing is, they tried it in other states and it was defeated. It never worked. Nobody ever figured out how to enforce and all that. So they passed a law. Let's see if they can actually do it. I mean, it's
True. I mean, even if when you look at the porn stuff, right?
yeah.
The law was passed. I do not think there's any enforcement.
No,
But
that's the
what did
problem. Yeah,
happen is a few of the big porn sites, right? They've implemented age verification.
yeah,
Now, for them, that implementation has helped business because the process is that you need to buy something with a credit card in order to prove your identity, right? So it's not or the alternative is I don't know, like there's some payment that's not going out of Pornhub's pocket, right? And there's a good chance that Pornhub is actually, grabbing some of that revenue. Maybe they're running the service. I don't know. So one, they get better demographics because they actually know who is watching their porn in the states, and two, in these states, right? Because it's location based. And two, there's a revenue stream. So I mean, yeah, fine, do
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Yes, time will tell.
yeah.
All right, it's that time of day. Anything else you want to add, Katie, Gal?
Nope. Enjoy the weather.
Is it sunny outside?
I guess it is. I don't know.
Hmm.
I haven't looked outside.
It's cold, but it's nice.
It's cold.
I mean, 44 degrees. It's not.
Oh,
It's
I
not
thought it was
steamy
Never
supposed to
hot.
mind.
be
Don't
really.
enjoy the weather.
I thought it was supposed
It'll
to.
be a high of 59.
Are you
Right?
kidding me? I thought. So when was it 73?
Yesterday?
Yesterday was beautiful. Yeah.
So okay, I missed on that. Oh well. All right.
That's because you don't have Nick to tell you what the weather is.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks, guys. Thanks, Katie. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Dana, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner, and change any same password where you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Again, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 a.m., Nick hosts the Carolina Journal News Hour on WBT in Charlotte, 11:10 a.m., 99.3 FM, and it's also on YouTube. Nick has his new show on YouTube. Go to nickcraig.com and get all the info when to watch it or to download. And Nick and Brian host the Infection Podcast on Twitch. That's for survival games, gaming, news, and some political points. Again, go to infectionpodcast.com and get the information when the live show is on. And you can download last week's show to watch it, or the latest show. Have a great week. Enjoy, and we'll be back together next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.